Ngayong araw pong ito, nakatakdang umalis dapat ang Gilas Pilipinas patungo sa Doha para sa Olympic or rather for the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. Aba, on the way to the airport, meron po nangyari, ika nga, no? 2 to 3 days bago po sila umalis, pumutok nga ang balita na kanselado na po yung FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers doon sa Doha, Qatar. Kaya nga yung tinatawag na, may paborito akong kanta eh. Ewan ko kung alam niyo ito yung I'm leaving on a jet plane. All my bags are packed, no? But nowhere to go. Ika nga sa aming mga Tagalog, gayak na, pero san ga ang punta mo, wala ka naman pupuntahan. Kaya po talagang lalo pang nag-evolve itong kwentong ito. Kahapon, nakakuha tayo ng balita na ang Pilipinas na muli daw ang mag-host at yan po ay ating tatalakayin ngayong araw pong ito, isang makulimlim na araw bago ang Valentine's Day. At tayo po ay marami pag-uusapan dito po sa Power and Play. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat mga kapatid. Kamusta po kayo mula sa isla ng Boracay? Naku, nandito po tayo. Tayo na anyayahan na pumasyal dito sa napakagandang isla, bagong-bago na ayos at ngayon napakatahimik din at makulimlim na umaga dito po sa Boracay. Magandang umaga po sa lahat ng ating mga tagapakinig ng Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay at ng Cherylum, ang yerong may aluminum. By the way, sa ating mga kaibigang mga Filipino-Chinese, Happy Chinese New Year po sa inyo lahat. Kahapon, marami tayong mga kaibigang nag-celebrate ng lunar year ng Chinese. No? Happy Chinese New Year po. And of course, dun sa mga nag-abang ng ang labing-labing bukas. Happy Valentine's in advance. Bukas naman yan, ha? Kaya meron naman kayong mga nakahandang candlelight dinner sa bahay, sa garahe, sa porch, kahit saan. Importante lang po na meron tayong pagsasalu-saluhan ng ating mga minamahal. Kamusta po sa ating mga tagapakinig ng Radyo 5 92.3 News FM? At of course, lahat po ng mga nakatutok sa 1PH over Signal TV, mayong buntag, lalong-lalo na sa ating mga suki sa Cebu City at sa Cagayan de Oro City. And of course, lahat po ng live stream sa pamamagitan ng Facebook Live ng Power Today with Noli Iyala at ng Radyo 5 92.3 at ng Noli Iyala YouTube channel. Kamusta po kayong lahat worldwide? We've got a lot of things to go through today. Mamaya po makakausap natin ang ating pinagmamalaking si Alex Iyala na ating pong nakapanayam just before she left for France, where siya po ay lumahok sa isang W25. Yung pong ibig sabihin ng W25, $25,000 event ng ITF po yan. Siya po ay naglaro dyan po sa France kahapon. Medyo minalas siya tayo at nakaharap niya isang pambihirang player mula sa Poland at siya po ay hindi nakapasok sa semifinals. But still a very remarkable performance for our 15-year-old teen sensation ng tennis. Mamaya po makakausap natin si Alex. Makakausap din po natin ang mga papasok na PBA draftees. Isa doon ay prospective number 1 pick, si Joshua Monson at ang kanyang dating kasama sa Chooks 3x3 Pilipinas League, si Frankie Johnson. Abangan nyo po yan sa ating second hour mamaya, Joshua Monson at si Frankie Johnson. Meron din pong bagong tatag na liga ngayon, yung tinatawag na Vismin Super Cup, Visayas Mindanao Super Cup. At mukhang maganda ang kanilang mga plano and of course, hopefully, alam nyo mga ligang ganito, mga regional league, dumaan na tayo dyan. Ang dami na nating nakita mga ganyang klaseng liga. Tayo po yung maasa na kahit papano ay ito po ay magiging matagumpay. Makakausap natin mamaya ng COO na si Rocky Chan. And of course, ang mainit na pinag-uusapan ngayon, ito pong sa SBP. Ito pong mga kaganapan na nakansela ang FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers sa Doha at ngayon nagpresenta ang SBP na tayo na mismo ang mag-host muli dito sa Clark ng dalawang grupo dito po sa Pilipinas. Mamaya po si Butch Antonio, Director of Operations ng SBP, ay ating makakapanayam live para po klaruhin ang mga iba't ibang bagay tungkol sa FIBA Asia Cup qualifier. Tayo ba talaga ang mag-host nito? Ano bang timetable? Kamusta ang impact nito sa mga tulad nila kay Soto? At dahil po dyan, ang ating pupulsuhan ngayong umagang ito ay tungkol din po dyan. Yung pong pagkakakansila sa Doha at ililipat sa Pilipinas, actually, parang rehosting lang ito dahil tayo po dapat talaga ang mag-host nito originally hanggang nagkaroon po ng travel restrictions at hindi po pinayagan ng IATF. Ngayon po, muli na namang ibabalik daw ng SBP ang hosting at naglabas na ng sulat si FIBA Asia Executive Director Hagop Kajirian na dito na nga gaganapin ang dalawang grupo at sa Lebanon yung isa. So ang tanong po natin ang ating pupulsuhan makilahok tayo dito mga kapatid. Sang-ayon ba kayo na muling i-alok ng SBP ang hosting ng FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers dito po sa Pilipinas? Sang-ayon ba kayo na muling ini-alok ng SBP ang hosting ng FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers dito po sa Pilipinas? Alam naman natin hindi pa rin po maayos ang ating kalagayan. Ang dami pa rin pong kaso, kaya ang daming mga factors tungkol dyan. At ika nga, ang isang malinaw at nagbubukas ng ating mga mata tungkol dito sa kaganapan na ito ay wala pong malinaw yung panahon ng pandemya. Kahit isang bayan tulad ng Doha na protektadong lungsod, napaka masinop ang kanilang ginagawang paghahanda sa COVID-19, sila po ay hindi pa rin nakaligtas sa bantang ito. Dito pa kaya gaganapin at ipapasok natin ay mga anim ba yan o 5 bansa na papasok diyan sa Clark? Tayo ba ay handa para gawin ang ating obligasyon at ating mga responsibilidad? So kayo po ang magbigay ng inyong kuro-kuro sa pamamagitan ng ating hotline 0949-691-4956 o di kaya sa Facebook page Noli Iyala, or rather Power and Play with Noli Iyala at ng Radyo 5 92.3 News FM. Nako, ang dami natin pag-uusapan ngayon pong araw na to, pero siyempre, ang lagi nating paboritong pagsisimula sa Power and Play ang ating segment ng Fast Take, kung saan makakasama natin ang ating mga kapatid sa sports media. At ngayong araw pong ito, dahil Valentine's bukas, talagang minarapat namin na ang ating makasama ay ang sports journalist couple na ay talagang sinusundan natin pagdating sa pagsusulat. Walang iba kundi ang mag-asawang si Joey at si Cristel Villar. Tama kaya yun? Pwede ko kayong sabihin yun, Cristel, na mag-asawa o boyfriend lang? Para maliwanagan lang to. Magandang umaga sa inyo, Joey and Cristel.
Good morning po, Kom. Good morning.
Good morning ko. Mahaligal pero tagulan talaga sa public.
Hindi, pinibiro wala kayo. Ako'y natutuwa talagang makasama kayo. Returning to the show, and it's always a nice, chinempohan talaga namin Valentine's Day. Kaya hindi ko natatanungin ang plano mo, Joey, baka mabooking kaya atin na lang yan. I-Viber mo na lang sa akin yung mga ganyan. Pero ito, bago tayo magsimula sa mga issues natin, Joey and Cristel, let me ask you first. Si Cristel muna. Cristel, alam natin na parating na ang PBA draft. Halos isang buwan na lang, March 14 ang PBA draft schedule. And marami nang napag-uusapang mga player. Sa iyo palagay, sino ang mas malakas ngayon pagdating sa numero 1 posisyon dito sa pagpasok ng PBA draft?
Actually, hindi ako familiar with the PBA. Pero siguro sa mga point guard siguro mas malakas dahil lagi naman tayong maraming mga talents pagdating dyan sa point guard positions Kasi kulang tayo sa height noon.
Kailangan talaga. Natandaan ni Guardia, napapasok yan. Alam na alam ni Joey yan. No? Joey, on the other hand, let me ask you about this issue, this raging issue ng SBP. Alam natin na nakansila na ang FIBA Asia Cup qualifier. Ngayon, meron tayong balak na tayo mismo ang mag-host muli. Ano sa tingin mo ang impact nito, particularly with Kai Sotto, Joey?
Kasi kumbaga, 'di ba, bago lumabas na tayo ulit ang host, parang balak ng SBP na i-reinsert ang operational word is reinsert sa Ignite, sa G League si Kai Sotto kasi sayang yung time. Kung umalis siya ron, tapos wala rin naman siyang lalaruin, tapos babalik siya ron dahil na-postpone. Since nandito na rin siya, sana matuloy na. Kaya lang, ang problema ngayon, sinabi mo, Com, na yung health concerns, magdadala tayo ng ilang bansa na tingin ko naman kaya nila. Kaya lang, syempre, meron palaging question mark na kaya ba nating kontrolin yung virus. Yung sabi mo nga, Com, yung Doha, na napaka-stricto sa mga ganyang protocols. And yet, napasok sila. Parang World War Z, di ba? Yung Israel, kung napanood mo, kontrolado nila. Biglang pasok.
May isa lang nakapasok.
Isa lang. Kaya very concerning.
Well, actually ako, I'm with you there, Joey. Talagang medyo hindi pa ako masyadong kampante dun sa desisyon. Pero sabi nga ng iba, desisyon nila yan. Gusto makatulong sa FIBA Asia in particular, lalo-lalo na ang SBP. Kaya kahit pa paano isusuportahan natin dahil nasa ating bansa yan. Kahiyaan na yan, ika nga, sa ating para sa ating bansa at sa ating national federation. But again, the impact sa mga players, sipin mo, di ba, Cristel, tama yun, naghahanda sila isang buwan na, biglang narinig nila, wala nang qualifier, lumabas sila sa bubble, ngayon, magsisimula na naman yung bubble. Hindi kaya nakakalito yan, Cristel?
I think nakakaano siya sa mental preparation ng atleta kasi syempre kailangan din nila ng focus pagdating diyan, hindi lang physical ganon. So syempre yung mindset nila is ito may 1 month ako or a few weeks, ito na yung tournament, and then bigla mawawala and then babalik. So parang nakakagulo siya pagdating sa mental preparation ng athlete. So yun nga, sana medyo ma-clarify nila kung ano ba talaga kasi mahirap hindi lang naman pangangatawan yung pinaghahandaan ng mga atleta.
Exactly, tama yan. Hindi lang pangangatawan kung hindi pati yung ating mental conditioning ay dapat nakatutok ka. Well, of course, makikita natin as this event develops in the next few days. Of course, ngayong araw na to makakasama namin kayo dahil sa ating fast take. So, ready na ba kayo? Meron tayong 3 mga burning issues na gusto namin ng inyong komentaryo. Alam niyo naman, syempre kayo laging nasa likod ng mga balita. Mga kaibigan, ito po ang fast take, ha? Bato-bato sa langit, tamaan, huwag magagalit, and of course, walang tama, walang maling opinion dito po sa fast take. Ang ating unang issue, Joey and Cristel, of course, narinig na natin na ang Gilas Pilipinas ay pumili na ng 3 player na ipapasok dun sa special draft. Yan po ay sila JD Tungkab, Jordan Heading at si Sadi Rangel. Alright? Pasok na daw umano itong 3 ito sa Gilas Special Draft. Sa tingin nyo ba may ibang player pa na dapat din isali dyan sa special draft? I will begin with you, Joey. You have 1 minute. Go.
Para sa akin, Com, sa tatlo na to, ang pinakakilala ko, diba, si Tungkab, si Heading, at saka si Rangel, sorry. Ang pinaka-familiar ako dito kay Heading kasi nasubaybayan ko to since 2011, nung ang tawag pa sa Batang Gilas noon, Energen, yung under coach Olsen Racela. Nasa Vietnam kami noon, and na-interview this guy na 6-footer pataas, very athletic, wala pang shooting noon. Ngayon, meron na. So, kilala ko tong batang to. Sila Rangel, siyempre, nasubaybayan na natin dito, pati si Tungkab. Tingin ko naman, mas maraming player din na mas talented sa PBA pool. Tulad nila Joshua Monson, sila Calvin Optanan, NCAA MVP. Pero tingin ko, si Tab, ang gusto niya yung the right fit. At saka yung willing to accept yung kung ano mang role ibigay. Kasi alam naman natin na PBA players ang isasaksak dito eventually in the end. So, ang pinakang rito factor is fit, the right fit sa team.
Exactly. Talagang alam natin si Coach Tab, hindi naman siya para dun sa mga superstar, pero ang gusto niya yung namomolde niya dun sa estilo ng kanilang laro. Same question, Cristel, Tungkab Heading at si Rangel, pasok na umano sa Gilas Special Draft. May ibang players pa sa tingin mo ba na dapat isinali din dyan sa special draft na yan? 1 minute, Cristel. Go!
I think meron naman dyan na players na makikita. Kaya lang siguro hindi kilala sa mga tao or sa atin as journalist and gano'n. And I think I trust din naman si Coach Tab to see yung mga nakikita natin like sa Visayas region, marami diyang mga atleta na siguro hindi lang nabibigyan ng chance to shine or wala silang way to share yung skills nila. Kasi compared dun sa mga nabanggit na 3 players, nandun sila dun sa kumbaga mainstream na leagues. So nakita na yung talents nila. So I think meron diyan na na players pa hindi lang palang nakikita, and sana makita na rin nila na maisali for the Gilas program.
Well, yan talaga ang ating dalangin. Sana ang mapunta dyan sa Gilas team na yan ay mga malalarong deserving, no? Pero ang aking take lang dito, alam niyo po, meron tayong special Gilas draft. Ang ibig sabihin yan, yung mga yan ay dapat talagang gagamitin para sa Gilas. Kung hindi naman ho ginagamit, kawawa rin yung mga bata. Nasasayang ang talento at ang oras. Sana po kahit papano, pag pinili sila sa Gilas draft, sila po ay talagang meron patutunguhan dyan sa national team. Alright, second take of the day. Alam natin na hanggang ngayon, Joey and Cristel, wala pa ring linaw ang mga amateur leagues, lalong-lalo na ang mga collegiate leagues. Ang IATF hindi pa rin nagbibigay ng mga pahintulot. Subalit, ang NCAA daw ay pinagpaplanuhan na magkaroon ng season. Ang tanong, kung ikaw ang tatanungin, Joey and Cristel, dapat ba itong season na to ay virtual, bubble, o wag na lang mag-season ang NCAA? I will begin with you, Cristel. 1 minute. Go.
Para sa akin, na lang, i-cancel na lang nila yung season nila. Kasi masyadong, yung time constraints to hold the season, masyadong maiksi na. Kasi once na, halimbawa, like with the other bubbles, like sa triathlon, they're trying to apply pa for the competition bubble. After ng approval, meron pa yung window na bago simulan nila So ang hirap na yung nakatenga lang, waiting pa rin sila in limbo. Tapos ang dami pa nilang hihintay na oras, magte-training pa yung atleta. Kung yung national team nga, sobrang hindi pa nila nabibigyan ng approval for competitions. So yung pang mga bata na collegiate, ito mas prone pa to sa mga hindi pa kailangan i-approve. So dapat wag na muna tayong mag-season this year.
Well, very good take, Cristel. Alam naman natin na kulang ang oras, pero hanggang ngayon nagpupumilit ng NCAA. Of course, it's a noble effort, pero ang tanong kaya. Joey, same question. Ngayon na nagpaplano ang NCAA ng isa pang season, dapat ba ito ay maging virtual, bubble lamang, or wag na lang mag-season? 1 minute. Go.
Ako, personally, it's either virtual or none at all. Kasi tama si Cristel na collegiate players to, mga karamihan dito, minor, underage. So, hindi nga pinapayagan yung mga national athletes to. Hindi pa pinapayagan. And yet, papayagan natin yung collegiate. Pero I have insider reports na matutuloy. Kaya lang, virtually. Hindi na bubble. Definitely out of the question. Virtually meaning chess, esports, tsaka other online events na pwede. For example, yung taekwondo may form event yan, yung Pumse, di ba? Yung ibang martial arts event may form event. Tapos I've heard na yung, for example, basketball, slam dunk na online or skill challenge or volleyball na pagalingan ng spike, tataasan ng talon. So, And I've heard na meron na sila ang GMA, sorry to mention the network,
Yeah.
GMA yung TV nila, may prepared na opening ceremony online, lahat kompleto na, everything. So matutuloy yan for sure. Virtually nga lang.
Wow, malaking balita yan. Of course, alam natin yung naging kontrata ng NCAA sa GMA. But and I think that's one of the reasons why tinutulak din na magtuloy. Pero tama ka, Joey, kung ito ay matutuloy, mahihirapan talaga. So yung virtual sports, yung sports na pwedeng ilaro virtually ay ika nga magiging isang solusyon. Pero again, ang dami nag-aabang ng mga major sports nila. And nakakaawa din ng atleta from the perspective of the athlete. Napakahirap ng dinadaanan nila na nag-training ka tapos wala ka namang patutunguhan. So again, sana nga kahit papano magawa natin ng paraan itong season na to, but more than that, itong pandemyang ito, sana yung vaccine lumabas na para sa mga ating mga atleta. All right, our third and final take of the morning, Mr. and Mrs. Villar. Ito po, abalang-abala ang bagong Volleyball Federation, yung PNVFI. At alam ko, Joey, nakatuto ka dito talaga mabuti. Sa kanilang mga plano, in fact, nakita natin yung mga plano nila. Gumawa na sila ng mga committee, meron silang mga in-appoint na mga bagong heads ng commission, especially yung tinatawag nating national team. Doon sa mga plano ni Tatsu Sara ng PNVFI, approve ba kayo sa kanilang recent actions? Joey, you have 1 minute. Go!
So far so good yung mga plano ng bagong NSA ng volleyball kasi accepted nga ng mga atlete, accepted ng karamihan ng mga coaches, and well represented yung stakeholders. Tulad except for some PBF officers na kumontra, pero the rest, parang 90% of the stakeholders approve. So maganda naman yung so far so good dahil hindi pa natin alam, history can only judge this thing. Pero ang isa sa mga programa na parang curious ako na hindi naman ako kontra, yung pagtayo ng National League, maganda yun Kaya lang, marami maapekto. Number 1, yung PVL. Number 2, PSL. Papayag ba yung teams na sa pandemya, financial 2 teams? So kaya ba, may players pa ba na pro, pwede maglaro sa ganyan? Yung mga questions na very technical. Pero ako, for me, kung ma-pull off nila to, good for the players, good for the athletes, good for Philippine volleyball kasi the more, the merrier. So, okay din to.
Well, tama yan. Maraming ang plano and you're very right. Yung point ng uniting the leagues, isang bagay na naitanong ko kay Tatsu Sara, sabi niya, hindi daw siya makikialam doon. Tingnan natin kung ano ang magiging kakahit-nak niya, kung talaga matutuloy ang mga ganyang klaseng plano ni Tatsu Sara. Cristel, same question. Abala-abala ang bagong Volleyball Federation ng PNVFI. Approve ka ba sa mga recent moves nila? 1 minute, Cristel. Go!
Ako talaga, approve ako dun sa mga moves nila, especially dun sa creation of a National Team Department Committee kasi magkakaroon ng parang exchanging of ideas when it comes to selecting the national team members. Kasi usually, coaching staff lang talaga yung mga nagse-select dyan. So, nagkakaroon ng problema pagdating dyan ng issue Pero siguro with the creation of this committee, magkakaroon ng balanced selection when it comes to selecting the national athletes. Kasi yun yung nagiging issue palagi ng volleyball na bakit si ganito, si ganyan yung pinasok sa national team. And mas gusto ko rin makita yung mga programs nila sa grassroots development. Kasi yun yung parang nawala nung sa mga previous association nila. So sana magtuloy-tuloy at makita yung plano into action.
Perfect. Alam mo, saludo ko kay Tony Boy Liao. Kilala ko yan, isang mabait na tao at alam naman natin ang kanyang kakayahan para bumuo ng national team. And exactly yung sinabi mo, Cristel, sana nga maging balanse, maging patas ang pagpili ng mga player, matanggal na yung politika. And alam natin si Tony Boy Liao, may kakayahang gawin yan. Joey and Cristel, always a pleasure to have you. Joey, paghandaan mo yung Valentine's Day bukas. Cristel, singilin mo yan, singilin mo. At lumalabang yan sa aming Fantasy League. Maraming salamat, Joey and Cristel.
Thank you, Com. Thank you.
po.
Ingat.
Thank you po.
Ingat ka, ingat ka. Alright mga kaibigan po ang ating mga kaibigan. Si Joey Villar at si Cristel Villar ang ating mga nakasama sa ating segment na Fast Take. By the way, gusto natin kamustahin po lahat ng ating mga kaibigan sa Cebu City, si Edsel Delmar na ngayon ay nakikinig po mula sa Mabolo, Cebu City. Shout out to Singles for Christ Central 1A Mabolo. Marami po tayong mga pagbati na. Si Jonathan Macam, laban o bawi na yan? Ay, BP, mag-esip-esip muna. Nakakatuwa. Ang dami na po mga nakatutok sa atin at tayo lagi natutuwa. Again, we're coming to you live from the island of Boracay dito po sa magandang isla na ating pinagmamalaki. Alright, at this point mga kaibigan, alam natin na si Alex Ayala ay nakakuha ng kanyang unang corona bilang professional about 4-5 weeks ago. And then sunod-sunod na po ang kanya naging torneo, 2 quarterfinals. Yesterday, natalo siya dun sa tournament sa France, quarterfinals din, but still an impressive showing for our 15-year-old tennis teen sensation. At ating pong inabutan si Alex just before she left for France dito po sa ating panayam tungkol sa ating pinagmamalaking si Alex Ayala.
Hi, Alex. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Well, we know that it's been a very, very hectic 3 weeks for you. But before we get to the nitty-gritty of your, play in the Manacor, can you give us a little background of the Manacor? Was this a Rafa Nadal Academy organized tournament?
Yes. Yes and no. I guess they have something to do with it. They're also involved, but this is basically it's an ITF women's tournament. So I'm not really sure with the details.
And what about the players that played there? Most of them are no longer juniors. No, they are already playing in the women's tour. So they also came from out of Spain to play in the tournament.
Yes, we have people from all over, and mostly, as you said, are no longer juniors.
Of course, the last match that you had against the Russian Oksana Selekmeteva, she's about 18 years old. So she's not as she just turned 18 actually in January when I checked her record. So she's not as old as the others, no? More or less,
she's pretty young.
you play in the same in the juniors.
Yeah, she's also a junior last year. I believe she played the slams. I've known her from before already. She's really nice and she's a really good player. So,
but she doesn't stay in the academy. She doesn't
No.
stay with you there. All right. It's been 3 weeks that you've been playing. How tough has it been to play 3 consecutive weeks, Alex?
Oh, really tough. Yeah, especially well, I'm very happy to have reached quite far in all tournaments, and but I think that's what made it tough is going day by day after every day, not having rest, and also having to juggle school because it was exams week, and it was really tough past few weeks.
Well, you said nga, no? Exams week, sabay ng tournament, and it's not like a juniors tournament. You're playing against much older, bigger women players. Why did you decide to take on this series in the Manacor, in the ITF? Was this really part of a program that you're following with your handlers at Rafa Nadal?
No, yes, this was always going to be part of my program. I think it's easier that it's here in the academy, less cost and everything. And I think I need to start. It's about time I start playing more of these tournaments and improving my ranking in the women's tour.
When you entered the ITF tournaments, were there any expectations on your part? You did very well, as you mentioned. You went deep into two of them and you won one. Was there even an expectation for you to win one of the three tournaments that you entered?
Well, I definitely didn't expect winning. I'm super happy and thankful to my team and to my family for all the support. And I worked really hard the past few months for preseason and everything. And I'm just so happy that I got that far.
So, in other words, Alex, talagang it was just to get you more games, get you acquainted, I guess, with the women's tour, and I suppose also to get some points. But really, going very deep into these tournaments was another bonus. Was just a bonus for you, na lang.
Well, of course, in every tournament, you don't want to lose first round or, you know, definitely I did want to get far into the tournament, and I thought that I could going into these 3 weeks, and I'm just happy that I was able to perform and to bring results.
Were you at all intimidated by the competition? I mean, do you know most of them? Have you played against most of them?
Most of them, actually, I don't know. I'm quite new to the women's tour, so I haven't really gotten around. But I know that most of them are more experienced than I am, and I think it can be intimidating sometimes, but when you're on court, it really shouldn't matter.
All right. Well, that's interesting. That's an interesting point that you said, that most of these players that you played against, hindi mo masyadong kilala, and they don't know you as well. Do you think that was that element of surprise, not knowing you, played a role in your first tour victory in the first week of the Manacor?
Well, I guess so, to a certain degree. I think that what also helped is that I didn't have any pressure to perform or anything because I was the underdog. I think that really made a difference.
Mm-hmm. So again, the fact that you came in unseeded, unranked, and clearly some of these players didn't know who Alex Ayala was, and they knew you're, I guess, the world junior ranked number 3, but iba rin yung women's tour. Was a plus for you. But we saw the kind of conditions that you played in. Can you describe it? It looked very windy, and it looked very tough out there especially during the first week.
Yes. Especially this time of the year, the weather can be very wild here in Mallorca. But I think that living here has helped me learn to adapt to these sort of circumstances, even when I'm playing somewhere else and it's really windy or it's really hot, then I know how to handle it.
So being at home, I guess home court advantage still helped in your game. When I was watching the video, and I could hear whoever was the cameraman behind the ITF going "Vamos" to you. Did you actually have a guy behind the camera that was rooting for you?
The camera was on a tripod. Just set up there, and everyone you can hear are my coaches sitting down.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah.
That was interesting kasi parang sabi ko, ba, daming fans ni Alex, pati yung cameraman.
Yeah, those are my coaches.
Excellent. But, I also noticed that there were no ball boys. Did that kind of give you more, get you more tired? I guess it's fair for everyone. O lahat naman kayo were picking up the balls. But is that something that's now common in the tour?
It's very common not to have ball boys. I think that's only in just in the Philippines, to be honest. It's not
Señorita in the Philippines.
It's not very common here in Europe. Maybe probably the big tournaments like in Grand Slams, or probably higher level, mga 100K or something like this, but definitely these tournaments that I'm starting to join, still not yet.
All right. So this is really something refreshing. I mean, it's new. It's something you're playing in the women's tour, and you're beginning to experience the life in the tour as well as the rigors and the grind. No? Of course, in the second, the third week, as you mentioned, you reach the quarterfinals, and well, medyo hindi tayo pinalad na pumasok sa semis. But did you feel that your opponents starting the second week, began to put more interest in your game? At least they already knew you after winning in the first week, and I guess they came prepared against you.
It could be, but I doubt. Well, it could be, but I doubt it made a huge difference in how they saw me. I mean, I think everyone who's at this level now should know that you never know what you're going to get on court, who your opponent is. Anyone could be amazing, and at least that's how I saw. That's how I see my opponents. I never underestimate them.
Was there more pressure on your part after winning your first tournament as a professional?
I didn't feel any extra pressure or anything like that. I don't think any unnecessary pressure would help me perform better. But I think I was just a bit more tired, and just small things that ended up not being enough.
Well, I guess the difference, of course, in this tournament is that it was the first time that your brother Miko was not around. How did that feel? Tell us about it, and did that feel a little different and a little more difficult for you?
It didn't make a huge impact. Actually almost all the tournaments I play, he doesn't watch. But I was hoping that he would be able to watch it because it was in the academy, my first tournament here. But he's in college now and he's happy. So as long as he's happy, I am.
All right. Well, now that the Manacor is done and you've gone through 3 very difficult weeks, what is your overall assessment of your game? Where do you think is it right now? What areas do you think can you still possibly get better as you progress in your career in the women's tour?
There's definitely a lot of room for improvement. I think a lot on my serve and on my footwork and more specific things. But overall, I think I've improved a lot in the past few months.
Your ground strokes looked very crisp. A lot of people noticed that it looked a lot stronger, sharper. Your angles were just a lot different, and you were covering a lot of ground, obviously, and that simply, I think, makes you a lot more dangerous now. Do you feel that aspect of your game has really improved?
I definitely worked a lot on it. On my movement, I worked a lot on my ground strokes, on my impact point, and I did feel a significant difference the past few weeks to last year and everything. So I'm very happy about that.
Is there a go-to shot that you like when you're in trouble?
No, not necessarily. No.
You don't want to give the secret. Okay, but also the opponents. I mean, are you beginning now to understand that there is a difference playing in the women's tour than in the juniors?
I've always understood that. I've always been told this by my coaches, and the more I play in the women's, the more I get to notice it, and the more I learn about the women's tour. So now I'm just trying to transition slowly into my game into one that's able to support me for the future.
You have broken the top 1,000 in the rankings in the women's tour, and clearly it is a milestone in your career. How does it feel? Do you feel that you are right on your timetable at this time?
I think I'm going at a good speed. I'm really proud of myself for breaking the top 1,000, and I don't know. I have bigger goals. I have goals that I hope to reach by the end of this year. As you said, as you mentioned, it's a huge milestone for me, and I'm really happy because it wasn't just me who worked super hard for the past 10 years of my life. Um, yeah,
10 years looks so long, Alex, and you're only 15.
yeah. But of course, I'm always wanting more and always wanting to improve.
And let's go to that specifically. So, what are you hoping for this year? I know that you've said you're still shooting for the top ranking in the juniors. What about the women's? If you were given a goal, how many tournaments do you want to play in this year? And obviously, so that you can get to a particular rank.
I think, of course, this year I'm definitely going to prioritize more women's over my goals in the women's tour over the juniors. I think that's going to help me more in the future, and I have nothing specific yet because, of course, with COVID and everything, anything can change at any time.
Right.
So right now we're just trying to take it step by step and one tournament after another.
All right. Well, let's talk about what's next. And before I let you go, what's next? First of all, schooling. Are you done? I know that you just finished your exams. Are you just beginning or what?
I finished my exams for the first semester.
First semester. Okay.
I'm starting my second one. And I'm going to fly out tomorrow to France for 25K. And then we'll see after that. I think I have maybe 1 or 2 weeks of training. And then I have a few more tournaments.
All right. So there will be a tournament again for you in France. Is this another week-long tournament, or is this longer than that?
It's another week-long tournament, so it's going to be my 4th consecutive week competing.
Wow.
So I'm really excited because it's higher level than these past 3 ones. So I'm really excited to see how I do.
I guess many people are asking. We know that around this time, in fact, a picture popped out in my on my phone the other day that when you came back after winning the Australian Open doubles, and we celebrated in Manila. Around this time that happened. Are you going back to defending the doubles title in the junior women's in the Aussie Open?
I would love to, but as for now, the Australian Open Juniors is postponed, so I'm not sure when or if they're going to continue with it.
Are you? Does this mean that all the junior tournaments in the Grand Slams also will be cancelled? Have you been given any notice?
Not yet. There hasn't been any news about any of the other slams yet.
But if you are...
Yan po mga kaibigan ang ating naging panayam kay Alex Ayala, ang World Junior Rank number 3 at ang WTA number 903. Siya po ay kahapon natapos na sa kanyang kampanya yung binabanggit niyang France tournament. Natapos na po siya at siya po ay umabot ng quarterfinals. And we understand that she will take about a 1 to 2 week break bago siya muling sumabak sa aksyon. So ating patuloy pong ipanalangin ang aking pong pamangkin. Hindi ko po anak si Alex, pamangkin ko yan. But we're very proud of her in the family, and she certainly has made the Philippines also very, very proud. Alright mga kaibigan, sa oras po na 8:45, tayo po ay magbe-break muna sa aming pagbabalik. Marami pa po tayong makakapanayam. Kasama na ang COO ng Vismin Super Cup, si Rocky Chan, sa pagbabalik po ng Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement at ng Cherry Loom. Muli po nagbabalik tayo sa Power and Play. Siya nga pala, gusto ko lang batiin ng isang belated happy birthday ang aking kaibigan si June Campos mula sa Singapore. Happy birthday, partner June Campos. Alright, at this point, balikan muna natin ang best moments sa kasaysayan ng palakasan dito po sa ating This Week in Sports History. Kapag sinabing 100 points ang yumaong NBA player na si Wilt Chamberlain, agad ang naiisip natin. Pero alam nyo ba na may nauna pa sa kanyang maka-score ng 100 points sa isang laro? Yan ay si Frank Selby noong February 13, 1954 o 67 years na ang nakalilipas. Umiscore ng 100 puntos si Frank Selby para sa kanyang eskwelahan na Furman University. Panalo ang kanyang koponan 149-95. Parang NBA na ngayon ito kontra sa Newberry College. Yun nga lang, hindi ito opisyal na nailagay sa record books dahil hindi Division I school ang kanilang katunggali na Newberry. Frank Selby scores 100 points in a college game this week in sports history. Dito sa PBA, may naka-100 na rin, di ba? Si ano pangalan nun? Yung import. Ang hirap talaga pag yung 100 puntos na yan, pambihira yan. Kaya talagang natatandaan yan ng mga tao. Alright, at this point, mga kaibigan, medyo papaspasan natin sapagkat busy-busy itong mamang ito. Alam natin po na ang mainit na pinag-uusapan ngayon ay yung nangyari sa basketball pa rin at yan po ay tungkol sa Gilas Pilipinas. Naputol nga po yung kanilang biyahe patungong Doha para sa FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. Subalit may plano na naman daw na itanghal dito sa Pilipinas muli ang qualifiers. So, Atin pong kakamustahin ang mga plano ng National Federation natin ng Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas sa pamamagitan ng kanilang Director for Operations, walang iba kundi ang aking kaibigang si Butch Antonio. Magandang umaga, Butch!
Good morning, Commissioner Noli. Kamusta na?
Ito, alam ko ikaw naka 100 points ka na rin minsan di ba, Butch?
Demerit na tayo, demerit, Commissioner.
Ito po si Butch, magaling player na to Huwag niyo, ang galing tumira ng tres ito si Butch nung Antonio nung ito ay maayos pa ang tuhod. Ang problema, panay ang badminton kaya tuloy na Butch,
Yes, sir.
alam natin na nagkaroon ng balita na na-cancel ang FIBA Asia Cup qualifier sa Doha. Una-una, ano bang naging reaction? Nakita natin ang statement ni Pangulong Al Panlilio, pero ano ang naging reaction ng koponan, ng Gilas mismo? Ano ang lumalabas sa camp ninyo sa Calambabol?
Well, ang talagang reaction ng team was there was disappointment. No? They've spent the past 4 weeks doon talagang nagpe-prepare talaga sila. Wala silang ginawa kundi mag-prepare. They would practice 2 times a day para lang prepara para dito sa ating games in Doha, no? And when the news came out that hindi nga matutuloy, there was disappointment. Talagang nalungkot sila, and I give it to them, no? Talagang nagbigay ng buhay itong mga to para mag-prepare yung ating mga players and the mga coaches. So you have to give it to them. So talagang na-disappoint sila. Na-disappoint.
Anong impact nito, Butch, dun sa programa ng team, ng Gilas, ng timetables? Alam naman natin, sa bawat koponan, meron tayong sinusundan na training program, conditioning, before you play again. Ngayon na in limbo, hindi pa natin masyadong alam ang tunay na schedule. I will ask you about that. But ano ang naging impact nito sa ating programa at sa mga players mismo?
Well, sila Coach Tab naman have lined up a program. Ang program naman ng isang koponan, alam mo yun, Commissioner, is hindi lang naman para sa right now ang tinitignan, di ba? Mahaba yung programa. It's a program that will walk or run all the way up to 2023. So ito is it's a momentary setback, but it's a continuous program. So magandang tignan na lang natin is they're able to prepare, they're able to practice as a team. Tab is able to put in his system slowly into, nagpo-progress sila ng mabuti. At I think ganun dapat natin tignan ngayon ang it's not so much na talagang sayang hindi natuloy yung games, pero ang maganda dito they still had time together, no? Building team philosophies, and hindi lang yung practice na nag-uuwian. They actually spent time together, no? They ate, slept, and did everything that was basketball 24/7 for some time. Maganda yun.
Sabi nga nila, mahirap buuin yung chemistry ng isang team. Kailangan magkaamuyan kayo, kailangan alam ninyo yung estilo ninyo, and of course, kung ano yung mga roles ninyo. But let me just ask you, alam natin na cancel na nga ang sa Doha, but there was a letter that came out in social media galing kay Hagop, kay Executive Director ng FIBA Asia na si Hagop, about the offer of the Philippines to rehost the FIBA Asia Cup qualifier muli sa Clark in a bubble. What is the latest on that? Are you confirming that? And secondly, meron na bang schedule na itinatakda ang FIBA Asia when this will happen?
Actually, yung atin nga, di ba, we originally had plans to host this bubble until nagkaroon na tayo ng mga konting mga restrictions. And through our President Al Panlilio and Chairman Emeritus MVP, we reiterated na kung gusto nyo tumingin ng option, we are offering again, no? But again, it's still very fluid, no? Nothing is cast in stone. We still
Mm.
have to talk to the authorities to get the necessary permissions, and na ano lang, ang maganda is Hagop na of FIBA Asia is very much interested and supportive of this gesture natin. Pero again, there is nothing cast in stone yet. Things have to be worked out, details have to be worked out, dates have to be worked out. Madami pang kailangan ayusin pa.
So again, in other words, of course, alam natin ang nangyari sa FIBA Asia. Ngayon medyo they're grappling on straws, ika nga, at naghahabol sila dahil na-cancel bigla yung Doha. Ilang beses nang naka-cancel yan, no? Of course, including the one in Clark dahil nga sa travel restrictions. But ang sinasabi mo is wala pang sigurado, although we've given the offer na posibleng tayo muli ang mag-host, but this has not been cleared with the IATF. You are still awaiting approval from the IATF, Butch? Ganun bang...
We still have to make the proper, the necessary coordination. We have to talk to them and seek permission again para, like yung ginawa natin when we were supposed to host the whole time. We were literally holding hands with the group of Secretary Vince Dizon, no? Just to make sure that tuloy-tuloy at maayos yung ating pag-host noon kung natuloy. So I guess if at all it happens, we have to do the same thing. No, we have to make representation with the IATF and make sure that everything is coordinated properly.
All right, abangan natin yan, Butch. But before I let you go, alam natin na ang maraming Pilipino ang interesado dun sa ating player na si Kai Soto. Of course, this particular cancellation really has impacted on Kai dahil talagang nagpunta siya dito, sinadya niya para maglaro para sa ating national team at he forgo or hindi niya na sinamahan yung kanyang Ignite team. What is the latest on Kai? How is he taking this? And will he stay on? Or siya ba ay talagang babalik pa rin at susubukang makalaro sa G League?
Well, right now the plan is to have him go back. No, we're trying to make things. Kasi nung nag-pull out na siya sa bubble, he has to continue his quarantine in his residence. No, so we're working with him and his group, no, in the US to make sure that there is time for him to join his team at makasali rin siya dun sa kanyang team sa G League na ang Ignite. So hopefully by next week maayos na yun.
Sabi nga nila, may kasabihan yun, a bird in hand is better than two in the bush, no? Parang ang nangyari dito kay Kai, sana makakalaro siya sa G League at of course pinili niya paglalaro sa Gilas, and no matter how we look at it, it obviously is a little bit of a setback sa kanyang timetable. But do you think that si Kai is still very upbeat about playing for Gilas, and ito ay sa tingin niya makakatulong pa rin sa kanyang career moving forward even with his NBA plans?
Yes, ang ano naman di ba? We have to remember that even before all these things happened, nung he was planning to join the NBA, when he had plans to do his foreign trip, wherever it was, no? Lalo na nung na-sure na nung napunta siya ng Amerika, he made it clear that every time and basta kailangan siya ng ating bayan, hindi niya tatanggihan at hindi niya tatalikuran yung kanyang obligasyon para i-represent yung ating bayan to be part of the national team, which is very commendable as far as the way we should look at Kai. No? It may be a setback for his Ignite career, understandably so, pero what is dapat tingnan ng tao dito is it is really a sacrifice, and you have to give it to him, no? Yung kanyang commitment, whether natuloy yung Doha o hindi. He's there, he was here, he's here. And he makes sure that yung kanyang promise, kumbaga, Commissioner, pag may promise, tinutupad niya.
Tinutupad. Well, that is really commendable, and we certainly hope na kahit papano ay makabalik siya doon sa kanyang team at mapagpatuloy niya yung development. I think the only thing that we are all hoping for Kai is to develop as a player. Whether he plays now in the national team or 2 years from now, as long as he develops into the right player that we all want him to be, yun lang naman ang ating panalangin. Before I let you go, Butch, there were 3 players already added sa special draft, so to speak, ng Gilas Pilipinas, sila Jordan Heading, si Shadi Rangel, and of course, si JD Tungkab. Bakit 3 lamang? And why, bakit nag-decline sila Will Navarro at saka si Calvin Oftana, Butch?
Pasensya na, Commissioner, the nitty-gritty of that, hindi ko masyado kabisado. It was sila manager Gabby Cui and sila Coach Tab who were talking to these players, no? But I guess the players have their own reasons and for not being able to be part of the Gilas draft. But on the other hand, we have to give it to the group who wants to be part of the Gilas team and the Gilas program, and because of we will welcome them, and we hope that they will be able to contribute to our future endeavors as a national team.
Well, sabi nga lagi ni Coach Tab, we're not looking for the best players, we're just looking for the best fit sa national team, and hopefully ating mabuo yung koponan na talagang makakalaban para sa atin sa 2023. Dr. Butch, thanks for joining us today.
Thank
I
you very
know
much.
it's very early.
For inviting me.
Ay, di bale, tayo isang araw, hopefully we can get together, play a little bit of golf.
Ay, maganda yan. I look forward to that.
Salamat.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good luck
Good morning.
Good luck sa
Good morning,
SBP.
everybody. Thank you.
Yan po mga kaibigan, si Director for Operations ng SBP, Butch Antonio, talking about the latest developments sa Gilas Pilipinas. Naku, talagang makikita nyo, ang dami pa palang maaaring mangyari. It was an offer made to FIBA Asia through, of course, Executive Director Hagop ng Lebanon. Ang tanong, yan ba ipapayagan ng IATF? Alam nyo, yung IATF, yun nga lang MPBL at saka PSL, hindi pa nila mapayagan, mapahintulutan na maglaro. Kailangan pa daw ng mga coordination with the LGU at ng Department of Health. Ito pa kayang malaking event na ito. Again, ang travel restrictions have been lifted, pero hindi natin alam sa dumadaming kaso dyan po sa iba't ibang parte ng mundo. Mahirap talagang ang kalagayan ng IATF ngayon and of course ng SBP. So we will continue to monitor the developments dito po sa developing story ng FIBA Asia Cup qualifier. Alright, at this point mga kaibigan, gusto ko lang po magpasalamat sa ating mga tagapagtaguyod ng Power and Play. Unahin ko po ang Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay. Nandito na ang Big Boss Cement, di basta matitibag, approved sa kalikasan at sobrang abot kaya. Big Boss Cement is the first eco-friendly cement company in the Philippines. First and only cement that is produced with low to 0% of high carbon footprint raw materials. Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay. Maraming po salamat sa kanilang presidente at Chief Company Innovator, Engineer Gilbert Cruz, sa patuloy pong pagsuporta sa Power and Play. Maraming din po salamat sa Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum sa ganitong pabago-bago ng panahon, mga kababayan. Sobrang init tapos biglang uulan. Kailangan natin ng matibay at protektadong bubong. Dapat ang bubong ay yerong may aluminum para tiyak na pangmatagalan. Alam mo ba, pagka ang yero nyo ay may halong aluminum, ito ay tumatagal. At isa lang ang alam kong dekalidad na yerong may aluminum. Yan po ang Cherry Loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero. Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Thank you so much kay paring Elmer Ngo ng Cherry Loom. Marami din po salamat sa Elms Resto Bar Group, Elms Kapihan and Bar, ang kanila pong branches ay located sa Calle Bistro, dyan po sa Commonwealth, sa Poblacion, sa Makati, and of course, dyan po sa Pasig at sa Robinsons Novaliches. Kung gusto niyo, mahilig po kayo sa kare-karein beef, bagnet, sizzling, sinigang na corned beef, Elms Old Style Burger, at iba't iba pang party platters, umorder lamang sa Elms Resto Bar Group, Elms Kapihan and Bar. Marami din po salamat sa Joyride, ang bago ninyong kasundo. Wherever you are, whatever you need, we deliver. Mabilis, mura at mapagkakatiwalaan. Dito na kayo sa subok na. Download the latest Joyride and Happy Move app now. Of course, available na rin po ang aming motorcycle taxi service sa Metro Manila at sa Metro Cebu. Kunin lang po ninyo ang inyong libreng passenger helmet sa pamamagitan ng aming passenger helmet program. Thank you so much sa Joyride, ang bago ninyong kasundo. Marami din po salamat sa Makilange Professional, your school of makeup artistry, the official makeup of Power and Play. At of course, marami po salamat sa Skin, your face and body anti-aging center. Diyan meron po silang branches sa Wilson Street, sa San Juan, at sa Alabang Town Center sa Muntinlupa. Kung may pangangailangan po kayo sa inyong skincare products at skincare needs, tumawag lamang sa 0917-890-1640. Skin. Hanapin niyo po si Dr. G. Sarmiento at si Doc Richie Sarmiento. Alright, mga kaibigan, at this point, well, alam niyo po, meron na namang umuusbong na bagong liga na ito ay professional league sa basketball. At ito po ay pinag-uusapan na ngayon, nakakuha na po ng pahintulot mula sa Games and Amusement Board. Ako, personal, malapit po ako sa mga regional league dahil ako po ay nagtatag din ng isang liga nung aking a few years back, yung pong Liga Pilipinas. So, I like the idea. I think it's good for the sport. Ang tanong lamang, is it sustainable and will it have quality of games? At para po dyan sa mga katanungan na yan, nakausap po natin ang mismong Chief Operating Officer ng Vismin Super Cup na magsisimula na rin po sa Abril. Walang iba kundi ang COO na si Rocky Chan sa Power and Play.
Magandang araw, Rocky. Good to have you on the show.
Magandang araw po sa inyo, Nolly. It's been an honor to be able to guest on your show. As in, we're very happy and thank you for the opportunity.
Well, sa amin ang malaking karangalan, Rocky. Kagaya ng bagit ko, no? Meron kayong liga na ipapalabas, pero bago natin pag-usapan ang Vismin Cup, I have to be honest, and I think maraming tao ang hindi very familiar sa iyo, Rocky. So, ano ba ang background mo, Rocky, at ano ba ang naging, bakit ka na-involved sa basketball?
Okay, siguro it's almost 20 years now I've been involved with regional basketball. I used to be based in Cagayan de Oro. From Cagayan de Oro po tayo. And then I have worked with teams before, yung mga regional basketball like NBC. And of course, yung kung saan kayo din ang naging head, yung Liga Pilipinas, with Pagadian team, with sa Norte. And yun, doon nag-ikot yung basketball natin.
At talagang, kumbaga, nasa dugo, talagang nasa hilig ang pagsuporta.
It's the passion of basketball. It's the passion of basketball that bakit meron tayo ngayon nakasama natin dito sa Pilipinas Vismin Super Cup.
Yan bang posisyon ng COO ng Vismin Super Cup ay parang equivalent to a commissioner ng professional league?
Okay, not necessarily. Actually, we're still looking into the commissioner position. We currently have our league ambassador who is also helping us. I guess you all know is the councilor of Cebu City, Councilor Don Ontiveros.
Yes, syempre. Sino ba naman ang hindi makakakilala kay Don, no? But let me ask you, Rocky, no? Since obviously ikaw ang isa sa mga haligi, ikaw ang isa sa mga nagtatag nitong Vismin Super Cup. What is the vision behind sa pagtatatag nitong bagong professional league?
Okay. Basically, there is three things that we want. We want to showcase homegrown talents, to develop new talents. Then the future Don Don Intiveros, or the future from the south like Junmar Pajardo or Ray Suerte and everything. Okay. The next thing is to uh, generate work for of course our referees, due to our current situation with the pandemic that we have. So we want also to have, ang daming walang trabaho coaches,
Oo.
referees, utilities, of course. And number three, we want to promote sports tourism within the regions of the Visayas and Mindanao. Yun yung
Napakaganda.
tatlong main visions ng liga namin.
Napakaganda. I mean, obviously, that's something that I personally support. Sa tingin ko, matagal ko nang alam yan, matagal ko nang ipinupush na dapat hindi monopoliya ng Maynila o ng Greater Manila o ng Luzon ang paglalaro ng basketball. Dahil iba naman ang kultura ng basketball pagdating sa South. Talagang ibang-iba at naramdaman natin yan, kagaya nga ng nabanggit mo, nung tayo ay kasama dyan sa Liga Pilipinas. But let me ask you lang, Rocky, no? Marami namang paraan, no? Pwede namang magtatag lamang ng isang liga among students or among collegiate players. Pero bakit kayo nag-isip, considering na napakahirap ng liga na professional, bakit nyo naisip na gawing professional league?
Okay. Actually, we've been planning this for more than a year. Okay. We were supposed to launch it prior to the pandemic. Kaso
Okay.
medyo inabot tayo.
Inabot, oo.
Yes. So, the management decided, we weigh things up. Binalansin namin kung we will just have to wait when the time comes that amateur will be allowed, or I think we take the gamble of turning pro just to, of course, start the league and provide, to help, generate jobs for the players, of course, coaches, referees, utilities. Kailangan naririnig namin yung mga players na siyempre yung wala din silang paraan ng hanap buhay,
Hanap buhay, oo.
referees.
Oo.
So the management really took the risk on turning pro. It also takes pride to those players who would be joining the league and masasabi nilang professional player ako. We're from the South, and iba din ang feeling iba din ang feeling ng mga players ngayon.
In other words, talagang ito ipagbibigay ng hanap buhay sa ating mga ka-industriya, yung mga officials, mga scorers, mga coaches, and of course, ang mga players. Diyan naman sa bandang yan ng ating bansa. But alam ko nga na ito binigyan na ng green light, ng go signal ng Games and Amusement Board ni Chairman Baham Mitra, at tayo natutuwa na meron na naman bagong tatag. But the question among many basketball fans, at kasi alam naman natin yan, kagaya na nabanggit mo, Rocky, no, marami na rin nagsubok, marami na rin nakapagpagawa niyan. Natatandaan natin ng NBA, ang Metropolitan Basketball Association. Nandyan yung sinasabi mo nga, yung NBC, National Basketball Conference. Nandun yung NPL. Meron pa nga yung Louvillier Cup, I think, no? And of course, yung ating Liga Pilipinas, and of course, ang MPPL, no? So, marami na nagsubok. Sa tingin mo, Rocky, ano ang diferensya nitong bagong tatag ninyong Pro League doon sa mga nauna sa inyo, at bakit ito sa tingin mo ay magiging matagumpay at magtatagal?
Okay. We're hoping and praying that the league would sustain. Isa sa mga tinitignan namin is we also consulted people, and hopefully we can have your ideas din, dahil nanggaling ka rin dyan, and we're open. Our doors are open to people who would make suggestions to us. What we're trying to do is, of course, dun sa mga team owners, yun sa kumbaga yung naunang mga members na kasama nitong liga, is to help us out. also the players, yung commitment nila, and of course the LGU. We're just so happy for their support despite sa sitwasyon ngayon. Alam natin yung mga programa ngayon ng mga LGUs is nakatutok sa health. So isa sa tinitignan namin is yung hindi ganun kalaki yung gastos ng mga teams.
Yun. Oo.
We have made up a team salary cap. We don't decide on the team individual salary cap of the players, okay?
Mhm.
Kasi alam naman natin sa totoo lang, hindi maging realidad yun if you make a salary cap on players. Okay, let's be honest. But we gave up a team salary cap, okay, in which dun lang mag-iikot. The league would be observing that with the teams, and nakikiusap din naman kami sa mga teams na if we want this league to continue to sustain, hindi kailangan na sobrang taas ng mga sahod ng mga players. Ibalik natin yung dati na kahit ganito lang ang sahod mo, pero yung passion mo sa basketball, yung paglalaro mo, it's not only about money. It's about yung like, you represent the city, yung puso mo sa basketball, andun talaga. So yan yung isa sa mga nakatutok kami at kinakausap namin yung mga teams.
Alright. Well, alam natin yan. Yun yung tinatawag mo sustainability. No? Talagang kailangan, kahit bagamat ito'y laro, bagamat ito'y basketball ang ating pinag-uusapan, negosyo pa rin para sa inyo, para sa mga teams, para sa mga player. Kaya kailangan magtama-tama ang gastusin. Hindi pwedeng masyadong mataas ang gastos ng isang liga at ng mga koponan doon sa mga kinikita naman o pang tutustos ng ating liga mismo. And I think that's sustainability. But there are other qualities of a pro league. Alam natin yan, Rocky, yung ang pinaka-importante, of course, yung kalidad ng laro, the quality of the games. Are you confident na itong Vismin Cup will showcase high quality of games at lalong-lalo na yung Visayan at Mindanaoan kind of basketball? Yun ang gustong makita ng tao. Sa tingin mo ba magagawa yan?
Actually, yun ang gusto namin. And yun ang nagpapa-excite ngayon sa amin with the teams that are joining, the players of each teams. They want to bring the old regional kind of basketball. Yung bakbakan pero hindi nakakasakit, kumbaga. It's not physicality, but, dun sa laro. And of course, our referees and everything are all set, are all prepared. Actually, they're into their conditioning trainings na. Even mga teams are so excited. So we want to bring that, yung sinasabi mo na yung South kind of basketball, yung sa Visayas and Mindanao na ito yung talagang Superliga ng Pinoy na ito yung basketball na gusto naming mapanood. Yun ang namin sa mga tao. What we can offer to the audience.
Sa aming mga taga-Tagalog, ang tawag dyan, larong buko. Yung talagang nagpapakadumi. Nasa gitna ng punuan, ng mga puno at merong basketball court na nakapako sa puno at yun na, laro na kagad.
Alam ko kung yun ang na-experience mo during the days of Liga
Pilipinas. Napakasaya. Honestly, my days in Liga Pilipinas were one of the best. In fact, I saw yung tinatawag nilang passion of the game, the passion of the people. Dahil ito talaga, mga talagang mga taong mahilig sa basketball ang nanonood. Hindi mga korporasyon na nagbabayad para panoorin ng kanilang mga player, kung hindi talagang mga taong gusto makakita lamang ng larong homegrown, ika nga. But let me ask you, importante rin dito, Rocky, of course, is mailathala, maipalabas itong mga games ninyo. Do you have plans for a TV coverage or a broadcast partner dito sa Vismin Super Cup?
Yeah, actually, I'll be finalizing some deals. Okay, one is that we will be having the games covered on regional side, sa mga local regions. For example, Visayas. We're already we're already gonna have to sign the contract once we're done. But 100% na yun, the games will be covered live on regional TVs in the Visayas and Mindanao. Okay, we have also partnered with Solar Sports to showcase the games nationwide. lalo na dito sa Luzon. Para makita naman nila kung anong klaseng basketball ang meron. Iba pa rin yung regional basketball. You represent the cities, yung pride na hindi ako pwedeng magpatalo dito.
Iba pa rin yun talaga. Pag ang dala-dala mong pangalan sa koponan, mismong bayan mo, talaga napataas ang pride. Rocky, nabanggit mo nga that you are the COO. Sino ba ang mga taong nasa sa likod nitong ligang ito? Can you name a few who are also part of your group na nag-oorganisa ng Bismin Super Cup?
Yeah. Besides me, of course, gaya na sabi ko kanina, we have League Ambassador Dondon Ontiveros, who is very much active. We're so happy to have him on board. And gaya ng sabi niya, we hope to discover another Dondon Ontiveros in this league. Of course, we have our Secretary General who acts as our Deputy Commissioner, si Coach Chelito Caro, who is very much active with Regional Basketball League, very passionate. He's now working on the Visayas for this inaugural season. Our technical head, Mr. Ray Cañete, who's handling, I guess you know him.
Kilala ko siya.
With SBP. So talagang we're getting ready. Number one priority of ours is officiating. It boils down to there. And idadagdag ko lang po, what excites us is the 6 homegrowns that we require per team.
Right.
Okay?
I was really going to go there. Talagang, unahan mo na. So, ang lineup nyo talaga, kailangan binubuo ng mga taga-bayan na nire-represent niya. Homegrown.
Okay. Yes. We require the teams before they come in to at least have 6 homegrowns.
Alright.
6 homegrowns means 3 nito are from the Visayas and Mindanao region. Okay? And the 3 others should come from the city or province you represent. For example, you represent Talisay or Mandaue, kailangan tagalong ka talaga. You're a
Tatlo doon. Kailangan may 3 taga-Talisay o Mandaue. Ganun ba?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oo.
And then, isa pa sa medyo nilagyan namin ng twist to add more excitement is that etong 6 na players, every game, they are talaga sila, maglalaro sila. We won't allow the teams na hindi sila maglaro. Hindi lang decoration yung gagawin natin sa mga home grounds. Maglalaro sila. They will be given ample playing time every game.
Okay. Alright. So, ang ibig sabihin nun kung ang mga kamag-anak niya gusto manood ng laban, talaga mapapanood nila si Kuya doon sa basketball court. Hindi lamang na nakaupo. Para talagang ang tao ay mag-cheer para sa kanila. Tama ba yun,
Yes.
Rocky? That's
And
right.
talagang para makilala naman natin, I
Correct.
think the teams will also get players that they know could help the team. Potential talaga.
Mga local town heroes. Talagang
Yes.
basketball legends ng playground. Ito ba, lahat ito may mga kontrata, Rocky? They will be covered by a uniform players contract na katulad sa PBA?
Yes, Com. We've already informed them. Actually, we will be having our first team owners meeting on February, this February 16. We will have a uniform, just what I said with Chairman Baham during our meeting. May mga uniform players contract para to protect each and everyone, the league, the team, and the players itself.
Well, I won't go into the details dahil napakarami niya. Yan ang sinasabi ko pag
Yes.
naging professional, talagang ang daming kailangan asikasuhin dyan, ang daming kailangan mga standard contracts or standard provisions na dapat ay nasa kontrata. But can you tell us a little bit about the teams na nag-commit na sa'yo, Rocky, for the Visayas League at saka sa Mindanao League?
Yeah. For the Visayas, already we have a team from Lapu-Lapu City. It's RQ Builders. We also have KCS Mandaue City. We have MJAS Talisay. We will be also having a team from Danao of Mayor of the local government unit, and we're finalizing a deal with Eastern Samar.
Wow.
And and hopefully we have 2 more teams. They're just awaiting their negotiations with the local government. That's for the Visayas leg. For the Mindanao leg, we have Zamboanga City, supported by Mayor Beng Climaco, We have a team from Zamboanga del Norte. We have a team from Sindangan, Zamboanga del Sur. And of course, we have a team from Pagadian City of Mayor Samico and Dodong Pamaran. And a team from Cagayan de Oro.
Ni Mayor Oka
Hopefully,
Moreno.
we will be having two teams from that area.
Very nice. Alam naman natin big supporter si Mayor Oka Moreno. But malaking sorpresa sa akin ng Eastern Samar. Si Governor Bena Verdone is a very good friend of mine. Sana nga makapagtayo sila ng liga doon because I know how passionate they are about basketball. I remember bringing yung PBA hotshots sa Eastern Samar way back and talaga namang dinagsa ang PBA nung panahon na yun. And I really hope that they can have a team dyan sa Bisping
Yes.
Cup. Rocky, before I let you go, I have a few questions just to ask you. Ito ba mga player na to, nakatali lamang sa Vismin Super Cup or kung ito ba ay ma-scout ng mga PBA, pwede lumipat ba ito at magpa-draft sa PBA? Ano ang, in other words, ano ang relationship ninyo sa professional league? Anong tingin yung magiging relasyon ninyo?
Actually, gaya ng inuulit ko even in other press releases, okay? The league is not here to compete with other professional leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We are here to help. There are lots of players in the South, but less ang mga liga na pinaglalaruan. Yung iba kasi, iilan lang ang napupunta sa Manila to showcase their talents na iiwanan sa Visayas and Mindanao. So this is just another venue where we can, discover some talents, hopefully to play for the national team. Diba? Yung
Alright.
mga
Well, yes, go ahead, Sonny. Rocky.
Yung mga hirap pumunta ng Manila, eto na yung opportunity where they can only, they stay from their city or province, they can play na pwede nilang paglaruan. And yun nga, hindi nakikipag-compete etong liga na to. We're here to help everyone.
Alam mo, sa dami ng mga mahihilig sa basketball sa ating bansa, talaga namang hindi dapat maglaban-laban ng mga liga. In fact, I really think that should be the mission of the SBP, na talagang i-farm out ang mga players at iba't ibang mga liga para lalo pang lumakas ang basketball sa buong Pilipinas. No? Napakaraming player, alam natin yan. Sa laki ng ating school network, ang ating system of colleges, talagang napakaraming naglalaro ng basketball. And there should always be a place for a good basketball player somewhere in any corner of the Philippines. Before I let you go, Rocky, you are starting this new league. It will begin on April 9 sa Visayas.
Yes.
Ano ang vision mo? Where do you see this league 5 years from now?
Hindi namin maisip pero we're very excited, okay? Ang nakikita lang namin kung gaya ng tanong mo kanina kung paano kung pumunta ng PBA or something, it's mission accomplished for us. Okay? We know naman the PBA PBA buhay ng Pilipino na yan eh. So if given the opportunity these players getting signed up for other leagues, we welcome it. It means na nakikita tayo na napupuna ang ligang ito. So why bakit namin ipagkait sa mga players na to? If they decided to play and that the mother team allows, why can't the league allow them? If it's good for them, then go. We'll be very happy. So siguro 5 years from now, hopefully masasabi namin eto na yung Superliga ng Visayas and Mindanao, eto na yung Superliga ng Pilipino, eto yung Pilipinas Vismin Super Cup.
Very nice. Well said, Rocky. And I know that basta bukas mata kayo, open eyes, wide open as you enter this venture, hindi kayo maliligaw because alam naman natin it is not going to be easy, lalo na sa simula, but we are here to support anything that supports basketball. Good luck, Rocky, sa grupo ninyo at sa Vismin Super Cup.
Maraming salamat, Com, and thank you for the opportunity for having us here on the show. It's an honor for us. And hopefully we can keep in touch with you one of these days. Of course, your advice would be a big help to us, to be a very big help for the league.
Anytime, Rocky. I'm always at your pleasure. Maraming salamat.
Yan po mga kaibigan, si Rocky Chan, ang Chief Operating Officer ng Vismin Super Cup. We welcome that. Magbubukas na ang kanilang liga April 9. Yan po ang Visayas leg. Alright, sa ganap na alas 9:30 ng umaga, magbe-break po muna tayo. Magbabalik tayo. Mamaya-maya makakasama natin ang mga PBA draftees Joshua Monzon at Frankie Johnson sa Power and Play. Alright mga kaibigan, nagbabalik po ang Power and Play mula sa isla ng Boracay. Maraming salamat nga pala sa Henan Prime sa kanilang pagpapaunlak sa ating show ngayong araw pong ito. Doon sa ating mga sumali sa ating Pulso ng Bayan, ito po ang ating tanong sa ating pinupulsuhan ngayon. Sangayon ba kayo na muling ialok ng SBP ang Pilipinas bilang host ng FIBA Asia Cup qualifier? Well, meron pong ilang nagbigay na ng kanilang mga opinion. Si Billy Barcelon, sabi niya, good morning po Sir Noli. Oo naman, dapat lang. Siguro naman mas disiplinado yung mga foreign players. Pag-igihan at pag-aralan ng masusi yung mga gagawin, mga health protocols. Mula kay Sherwin de la Vega, sabi niya, does not matter. Pera naman nila yan. Siguro sabi niya ang SBP. Mula kay Carlos A.M. Katigbak, sabi niya, yes, especially if restrictions will be lifted and IATF allows it. Mula kay Mark, yes sir, Kai Soto didn't come here for this thing to be cancelled. Shake my head, shame on you. Hindi naman. SBP for pulling that honor card on that on that kid. Hindi naman siguro. Ang SBP naman talagang gusto nila makatulong. Pero sana nga si Kai Soto ay makapaglaro at ma-push ang kanyang career. No? Mula kay I am Shokokai, hindi. In the first place, kaya kinancel dahil sa travel ban na pinapatupad ng Philippine government, di pa naman nagbabago ang status ng Pinas. Para saan ba at pinipilit ng SBP ang third window? Para sa Pinas ba o kay Kai? Pakawala na yung bata nang makahabol pa sa G-League. Huwag selfish SBP. Mula kay Maki Lance, Kai needs the exposure to boost his draft stock. At yun nga, okay. Yun ang marami pa pong nagbigay ng kanilang opinion. Maraming salamat po dun sa mga nakilahok sa ating Pulso ng Bayan. At this point, mga kaibigan, before we end the show, atin pong ipapasok ngayon ang ating naging interview with two of the draft applicants na sa tingin natin ay magiging mataas sa PBA draft order ngayon pong darating na Marso. Sila po ay si Joshua Monson, ang 26-year-old, 6'4", na naglaro sa Cal State University sa LA at sa ABL, sa Chooks to Go Pilipinas, the number 1 ranked 3x3 player of the country. At makakasama niya si Frankie Johnson ng Vallejo, California, isang NCAA Division 2, naglaro din sa Chooks to Go Pilipinas 3x3. Ito po ang mga top PBA draftees sa Power and Play.
A lot of people have been talking about the application that the two of you have filed for the PBA draft. And that's because of what you've been able to do in the last few years and really focused on 3x3 to help the Philippines qualify for the Olympics. Now, the question I guess that everyone is asking is, considering that we are still in the midst of trying to qualify, getting into that process, and I'll ask the two of you because the two of you have been very instrumental in making 3x3 very, very popular. Joshua, what made you decide to finally apply with the PBA for the PBA draft, and I guess put your 3x3 career on hold for the meantime?
Well, ever since I started playing in the ABL, back when I first, came to this part of the wide part of the world, it was always been my goal to play in the PBA. I mean, it maybe not my first year out of the ABL. Maybe I wouldn't have been, a top pick. So, maybe I play another year, coming out having 2 years experience, and that, I come, to the Philippines, and 3x3 presented itself to me, and at the same time I was playing D League, and so I was able to, play D League and do 3x3 at the same time. And when they presented me with the option of, we're gonna, fight for this spot, for this Olympic spot, I think it put my PBA dreams on hold for a second, because I wanted to, represent the country and be able to, put Gilas on. And, because right now, we have the Olympic qualifier still coming up in May. So I am still, involved in 3-on-3. On that team, it'll be me, Alvin, CJ, and Mo. And so, we're still focused on 3-on-3, but at the same time, I think just being able to represent the country put my PBA dreams on hold for, a year or two. And I think right now, with the way things are, I think, with me being able to still be in the Olympic qualifying tournament in May and enter the draft, I think, I get the best of both worlds. I think you'll possibly see me playing 3x3 in the future and still playing 5-on-5. So I don't think I won't be playing 3x3. I just think that it'll be a little different, because the PBA is, in talks for their own 3x3 league. So I won't say I'm for sure going to be a part of that, but with my past record of playing 3x3 and being on the national team right now for 3x3, I could definitely see myself being a part of that also. So.
Okay, what made you decide to finally throw your hat into the race amidst a loaded draft this year?
Well, honestly, when I got to the Philippines in 2018, that's the first time I landed in the Philippines. I had plans on entering the draft that year, and so like a little quick backstory, I ended up being ineligible like the first conference of like the D League in 2018. So I didn't have enough games to enter that year, and I came back the next year. I was playing for Morinero, and then I came back the next year in 2019, played the D League again. That's when I was playing with AMA. That's when I met Josh, and we was teammates and all that. And I had planned on entering that year, 2019, but then I had ended up getting an offer from Chooks like at the end of the year, like right before the draft. So I ended up signing with them, and so I mean, this would be the draft was supposed to be in 2020, right? But the pandemic and all that like kind of pushed everything back. So I just think at the time now, I mean, I had already planned on doing it, but like I said, 3x3 kind of it didn't get in the way, but like, I had got the offer and I decided to go with that. And I had never played 3x3 before either. So I think it was a good experience. And that's what I came to the Philippines to do, was go to the, go to the PBA. So I think now is like the perfect time, and I don't want to, keep delaying and keep waiting, pretty much. So.
All right. Yeah, well, and I want to ask this to Joshua in relation still to your 3x3 career. We know that you are the number one 3 player, number one ranked player for the Philippines, and like you said, you know it is still you are still going to represent the Philippines. But you know, given this whole issue with 3x3, and all of a sudden, you know, we really didn't qualify automatically. We'll have to go through the qualifiers. Given all of that, do you think it was quote unquote waste of time to have stayed in 3x3 rather than to jump into the PBA right away, or do you think your time with the program with 3x3 was all worth it and really made you more prepared for your PBA stint?
I think that it was totally worth it for me to do the 3x3 another year, and you know, put, you know, my PBA dreams on hold, just because I benefited so much from spending extra time in the Philippines. You know, it's been, now I've lived in the Philippines for 2 years prior to entering the PBA. You know, some people come over and, you know, they think they're going to enter the PBA and it's not, or, you know, and the Philippines ain't all what they hoped, or, you know, some people get homesick, and I think it just prepared me even more so for that long stay, you know, that's coming ahead of, you know, being in the Philippines, being in the PBA. And, you know, not only that, but it was nothing but love over there, Chicks. I mean, they took care of me, and, you know, I have no complaints, you know, leaving there. And you know, it was a no-brainer after my first year with them to come back and do it again with them the second year. I mean, at that point, we had still, you know, had things gone as planned and there had been no pandemic, we'd have already played the Olympic qualifier back in March of last year, and I'd be in there in the draft already this year, you know, as planned. So, you know, with the delay of everything, you know, the pandemic, it kind of, you know, messed up, you know, the plans of everything. But, you know, with, you know, things, you know, you know, everybody's still making a way. And, you know, I think that's what's, you know, the best thing about this is that there's still opportunity for not only myself, but for all of us to still go out there and play the game that we love.
Right. Well, you know, you've done so much, and I'm sure 3x3 has nothing back, and somehow that love will overflow in move over to the
I
PBA.
love it. It's definitely a new love for me.
Absolutely. Frankie, you know, we know that you had proven yourself so much in 3x3. You know, you've banged bodies, you've gone up against bigger opponents back in the Chooks to Go league. How much has that experience, that part of your career, prepared you for the coming PBA wars?
I mean, I think it's been a good experience. I'm grateful for the experience in my time in Chooks. Like I said, I've never played 3x3 before, so it was a whole new game. I definitely didn't expect it to be that physical, because I mean, I honestly didn't even know like Philippine basketball was that physical until I played in the D League. So once I got to 3x3, I was like, I already kind of knew what to expect. And then like guys were a lot bigger and taller than I expected too. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's got me very prepared and very ready for the PBA, because I know like if you can play in 3x3 and handle that physicality, like the PBA physicality is, you know, pretty much the same. It may be a little bit more physical, but 3x3 is just a whole different game, and you've got to be strong and physical when you play that. So I mean, I feel like it's prepared me a lot, and it was fun. And then now I'm just looking forward to the PBA and seeing what I could do in there.
Well, it's really time to move on, and obviously the physicality gets even harder and you know, greater when you enter the pro league. But you know, a lot of PBA fans know you for what you've done in your careers in the ABL, in the D League, in the PBA D League, of course, and of course in 3x3. But maybe let's just look a little bit, you know, just for the many fans who still want to know more about Josh and Frankie. How did you guys get started in basketball when you were young? Who introduced the game to the two of you? And I'll begin with you, Frankie.
I got to give all credit to my dad. You know what I mean? My dad has been my biggest influence in my life. He's the one that put the basketball in my hands. He's the one that made me want to start playing basketball, because he used to play basketball when he was younger. And I seen him like when I was growing up. I seen him playing. Like I go to the park with him. I go to these gyms and all that. So he's the one who, you know, I got to give all the credit to him. But as far as like my journey coming to the Philippines, I had to give credit to my friend Robbie Herndon on Alaska Aces. He's pretty much the one that kind of convinced me to come to the Philippines. And when I was done, when I was finished college back in 2016, I was just working here at home, and he pretty much convinced me. He was like, "Hey, you still want to play basketball?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Well, I mean, you're half Filipino. You should come over here to the Philippines." And I was like, "Well, how do I do that?" Because he had already been out there for 2 years. I think he got there in like 2016, and
Right.
or yeah, I don't know when I think he got there in like 2016. And then he was talking to me in like 2017, actually 2017 going to 2018, and he was like, if you still want to play basketball, I could hook you up. Not really hook me up, but like, talk to some coaches, get you on a D-League team. And he's like, you got to get your paperwork done first. I was like, well, let me know like how that like the whole process is. And he let me know everything I need to do, and that's kind of how I like found my way in the Philippines. But like back to what your question, I would say, my dad pretty much. There's been a lot of other people in my life, but I had to get all the credit to my dad, and he's the
Right.
reason, the player why I'm the player I am today, and the things I know and the thing I've been through. My dad's been there, every step of the way. So without God and without him, I wouldn't be who I am or where I am today.
All right.
So definitely my dad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Josh, what about you?
I mean, for me, I think I grew up loving the game. I think as we all naturally loving the game. I think growing up in LA, watching the Lakers, watching Kobe, I think had the biggest influence on me. The reason why I love the game so much. I mean, I played basketball as a kid. Obviously for like the YMCA, being 7, 8 years old. And I think developing. I think what really helped me develop my love for the game was watching, the Lakers, watching Kobe, watching Shaq, and watching them all my years growing up. I think, the level of that they played at. And, I think that just inspired me. And I think, every day to this day now, I think I'm waking up thinking, what would Kobe do, in these situations? Or, Kobe ain't going to not work out today. Like, he's not going to not work out today. Like, as much as I don't want to work out today, I'm going to go work out today because that's what the greats do. You know what I mean? So I think just having that mentality has given me growing inspiration from watching them play. I think just inspired me, naturally, like all of us. We all watch basketball every day. We're all inspired and want to go out there and do the same things we see on TV. So I think, that was my biggest influence.
Both of you grew up watching the Lakers, the Warriors. You grew up, but did you know anything about the PBA? Were you actually introduced to the PBA early on? And was there at any point in time? Was it part of the dream for you to play in the PBA, Josh?
I won't lie. I honestly didn't know too much about Philippine basketball. I'd say until after high school. I want to say because in high school I was getting recruited to come play college in the Philippines, and I was like, wait, what? Like reaching out because I guess somebody heard I had some Filipino blood, and I was like, they was like, yeah, if you get your papers, that. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I go college. I played 4 years in college and don't think about it again. And then my senior year comes, and I have an agent reach out and says, if you can get your papers, you can actually come play over here. And I'm like, wait, what? So that's how I ended up getting, my passport. I ended up getting everything, without even knowing. Like my dad was a citizen of the Philippines when I was born, and so he was naturalized like after I was born. So without knowing any of this at all, like everything that on my papers, everything was like totally fine. So I mean, everything ended up working out, in its best. But I won't lie. Before my senior year in college, I had no idea about too much about basketball in Southeast Asia at all.
Right. Okay. At least you're being very candid about your things.
Yeah.
Did you grow up knowing about the PBA?
Me?
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry because my thing is going in and out. But like Josh said, I did know about Philippine basketball, but it wasn't until because I went to junior college first, and so I would say this was when I was about 19. My second year in college, a lot of colleges were recruiting me, or like there's a lot of Filipinos where I'm from, so a lot of Filipino guys would come up to me and say, hey, like you want to go to college in the Philippines, like you want to do your last 2 years in the Philippines, and all this other stuff. They were just like, telling me about Philippine basketball. And I was like, it sounds good, but like I always like wanted to finish my career, like my college career, and get my degree here in America. So like I really didn't take it serious until like my friend Robbie, until he's the one that was like, hey, now that you're done with college, do you have any other offers overseas? And anybody that plays knows like getting overseas is all about like, more than talent. It's all about like connects and who you know and what that person can do for you. So I didn't have any other offers, you know, after college, and I was just working a regular job, and like I said, Robbie was telling me, like, you know, just come over here and play. So that's when I really started taking it serious, and like when I was here, that's when I really started like looking into it, and I was really hearing about the PBA. I had heard about the PBA, but I didn't know much about it. And so once he told me, once I was going through like the whole paperwork process, that's when I really started like paying attention. I was like looking it up on YouTube. I was, you know, seeing all this other stuff. I was like, all the Filipino dudes that were trying to like, you know, recruit me to come to play college there. I was, you know, filling them out and asking them about questions about how it is over there. So before I got there, I kind of knew a lot about it, but yeah, no, I wouldn't say until I was about 19 is when I really started knowing about like the PBA and stuff like that. So, but obviously when I got over there, I learned way more about it. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, you know, you may not have known it early, but certainly people know about you now, and they'll know more about Joshua and Frankie as they enter the PBA. And talking about that, you know, now that you are officially entering the PBA draft, I guess many of the scouts are now asking, what do we get out of these two players? So I'll ask you, Josh, what are PBA teams getting from Joshua Monzon when you enter the PBA?
You know, I think they're getting a leader. I think that you can look back at my track record and see the teams that I've been on. You know, I've contributed not only on offense, but, you know, on defense too. You know, I'm a very vocal person out there on the court, and, you know, I'm somebody who's going out there and give everything I have. You know, most of the teams that I've been on, you know, I have asked to be, you know, have the scoring low, but I don't always have to score the ball. I mean, I feel like I have an all around offensive game, but, you know, not only that, I feel like I'm one of the best defenders, you know, that will be in the league in the future, you know, just because of my ability to, you know, be in the passing lanes or my on ball defending or whatever, you know, or doing what it takes. I feel like defensively, you know, I can kick it in another gear that, you know, a lot of people expect me to be, you know, a great offensive player, but I actually feel like I'll be, you know, a great defensive player also. So, I mean, you know, I think they're getting a confident, you know, young guy, and you know, I believe in my abilities on both sides of the basketball. So I feel I'm ready. You know, like I said, 4 years out of college, I've played, you know, 4 years now, 2 years in the ABO, 2 years on the 3x3 scene. You know, I think that I've taken all the steps. You know, I've taken all the steps to mature as a basketball player, and not only, you know, on the court but off the court. You know, I've dealt with a lot of, you know, professional side of things when it comes to, you know, being cut from a team or, you know, being released from a team. I've been released from a team before. I know how it feels. I know how the business works. So, you know, I'm not just somebody who, you know, I'm not a young guy. I'm somebody who's been through a lot of things in this business. So I think they're getting an experienced guy and somebody who, you know, who's stepping in, coming in, ready to be a pro.
Well, they're certainly getting a lot. That's why everyone's talking about you being number one here, Josh. But before I get to that, Frankie, what are PBA teams getting from a Frankie Johnson when he's on the court?
I would say definitely, you know, somebody that can really put up points in bunches, somebody that can, you know, come in and score, do it, you know, as far as like on the offensive side. But just somebody that's, you know, confident, somebody that's going to listen, somebody that's fearless, and, you know, just do what it takes to win. You know, I don't really have high expectations. I don't really like plan stuff out when I go out there and play. I just, you know, kind of just let my game go out there and let my game do the talking. And, you know, I just like to go out there and have fun and just go to war with my teammates and anybody that, you know, I'm on the court with or, you know, I'm not backing down for nobody. So that's what they get from me. Somebody that's fearless, somebody that's gritty, somebody that's going to come out there and score in bunches and do whatever it takes to win.
Yeah, well, I've seen that. I've seen how much of a warrior you are. I've seen how much you can score and how tough you can defend, even if against players who are bigger than you. You know, obviously, this is not going to be easy for the two of you. Although you are prepared, you have played enough, you've seen the Philippine style of basketball. But what do you think is the biggest adjustment to the PBA game, especially coming off a career in 3x3 where you have not played a lot of five-a-side officially? What kind of adjustments do you have to make, Josh?
I think initially it'll be the pace of the game. You know, not only when you step into, you know, a new team, it's not only you got to learn your teammates, but not only that, I'm stepping into a new league in itself. So I think, you know, learning how, you know, the game is played in the PBA. You know, PBA isn't played like, you know, other leagues. So, you know, you definitely got to be ready for that grown man pace of being physical and being assertive, and being, strong with what you're doing out there. So I think the biggest adjustment would be the pace of the game. And, I think once, once I make that adjustment, I think, things will click. I think things will click.
Right. Frankie,
Well,
any adjustments? Yeah.
yeah, like you said, we haven't played 5-on-5 in a long time. Organized 5-on-5. Last time I played organized 5-on-5 was the D League for AMA in 2019. So ever since then, I've been doing 3x3. So I feel like the
been a
biggest
while,
adjustment
yeah.
to me.
Yeah,
it's
and
been a
that was
while.
rough.
Yeah, that was crazy times. But I would say the biggest thing is just getting back used to playing 5-on-5. The rules, definitely the size of the ball, all that plays a big factor. But I've been playing some 5-on-5 since I've been here at home. But it's nothing like playing 5-on-5 with referees and a game that actually matters. So I would also agree with Josh, the pace of the game and just get back into the flow of things like that. But I feel I'm ready. I feel I'm prepared. I feel like I can not play 5-on-5 for 5-10 years straight. And if I do go back and play, I feel like I'll fit right back in because it's something I've been doing my whole life. I've never 3x3 was just for a year or two, and so I'm just 5-on-5. I'm just used to it. I know, that's the regular game of basketball.
Well, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see you back on a setting of 5-on-5 and playing PBA style. And I know that your style will fit. I know that you guys, it'll not be too much of an adjustment. I think you both are PBA ready. But this question just goes to you, Josh. And a lot of chatter about you being potentially the #1 pick. Is that kind of talk more pressure on you, or is this do you take it as a challenge or an opportunity instead?
For me, I'm thankful that that to be wanted like that, by all the teams, and and for my name to be mentioned in that, I'm honored for me to be to be to potentially be that #1 pick, and with the things being said, for me to be in that position, it's nothing that I take for granted, and nor do I feel any pressure. For me, this is this is what everything has led up to. I laid out a plan. Not only I laid out a plan when I first entered the ABL, and that was to kind of make noise and slowly but surely, I did that and made some noise and made a name for myself. So I think that I think with all the steps that I've taken, and where I am now, I think that it's tough to it's tough to really plan some things out and say you're going to do some things and this is what it's going to be.
Right.
And I think that I'm just thankful that I was healthy enough and God put me in a position to execute the plan, and now is ready for that next chapter of being in the PBA.
Right. Let me just throw a follow-up question there before I go to Frankie. Josh, we know that Terra Firma has the #1 pick, and it's possible that you could go to the Jeep team. Also what has happened. CJ Perez is no longer with the team. He's a guy that you played with in 3x3. Do you think that it was a lost opportunity for you to play? You could have a chance to play with CJ in Terra Firma. And do you what do you think of this possibility of playing for a team that's building?
For me, I think the possibility of playing with CJ, I mean, he's obviously one of the, best guards in the league. So I think the possibility of playing with him and pairing next to him would have been fun to see. I think it would have been a nice show to see, me and him in the same backcourt, you basically take turns, I'd say. But, stepping into, if, Terra Firma chooses to pick me, I think I'm confident and I'm ready to step in there and do what they need me to do, whether it's lead the team, go out there, produce offensively or defensively, whatever they need from me. I feel I'm ready to step in and do what's asked. I feel like even on most of the teams I've been on, I hate to say that, but I've been put in that position a lot to where, things may not be in the best situation, for, the entire team. But at the same time, we're going to work hard and we're going to get better. We're not going to waste no days in the gym because, tomorrow is not promised. We got to take advantage of the day. So, I mean, going back to, if they pick me, I'm confident. I'm ready. I'm ready to be Terra Firma's guy if they need me to be. So potentially, if they pick me, I'd be ready to step in there and do what I have to do.
Yan po mga kaibigan, ang panayam natin kay Joshua Monzon at kay Frankie Johnson. Abangan nyo yung mga pangalan yan. Sigurado nasa top yan ng mga pipiliin sa March 14 ng PBA Draft. Alright mga kaibigan, that's it for us today. Bago ako goodbye, birthday lamang kay Kirby Posas mula sa iyong ama, si June Posas. Binabati ko rin ng happy birthday ang aking anak si Sam na bukas, Valentine's Day. And of course, sa aking pamangkin, si Zoe. Happy birthday as well. From the island of Boracay, maraming po salamat sa lahat ng inyong mga pagbati, mga nakinig. And of course, lagi po namin sinasabi sa lahat po ng ating gawain, ad maiorem Dei gloriam, all for the greater glory of God. Happy Sports Weekend, mga kapatid. Happy Valentine's sa inyo lahat.